Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. This is the name of the chapter. Name of the chapter is the summary of Lord Krishna's glories. And as we mentioned last class, that you always end something with something very sweet, and so this is a very sweet ending of the 10th canto, and this is chapter 15. Mahisha uchuhu kuravi vilapsiti tvam vitanijana sheshe swapeti jagati racham ishvara gupta bodha Vayam eva sakki kachid gada nirvidha cheta nalina nayana hasodhara likshatena. Translation. The queen said, O Kurari bird, you are lamenting. Now it is night, and somewhere in this world the Supreme Lord is asleep in a hidden place. But you are wide awake, O friend, unable to fall asleep. Is it that you, like us, have had your heart pierced to the core by the lotus-eyed Lord's munificent, playful, smiling glances? Let's read the translation again. Queen said, O Kurari bird, you are lamenting. Now it is night, and somewhere in this world the Supreme Lord is asleep in a hidden place. But you are wide awake, O friend, unable to sleep. Is it that you, like us, you have had your heart pierced to the core by the lotus-eyed Lord's munificent, playful, smiling glances? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, purport by his disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, explains that the transcendental madness, unmada, of the queens filled them with such ecstasy that they saw their own mood reflected in everyone and everything else. Here they point to the Kurari bird, who they take to be sorrowing over separation from Krishna. That if the Lord had any concern for her or themselves, he would not be sleeping comfortably at that moment. They warned the Kurari not to expect Krishna to hear her lamentation and show some mercy. Does anybody know? I don't know. Who knows the sound of the osprey? Sometimes you hear references to this bird in different parts of the Bhagavatam. Any bird experts out there who know how to make the sound? In a case, the Kurari might think Krishna's sleeping with his queens. They deny this, saying that he is Gupta Bodha. His whereabouts are unknown to them. He is out in the world somewhere this night. But they have no idea where to go looking for him. Oh, dear bird, they cry. Even though you are a simple creature, your heart has been deeply pierced like ours. And you must have some contact then with our Krishna. What keeps you from giving up your hopeless attachment to him? Kurari vilapsita tvam nija vita nija na sheshe swapiti jagati racham ishvara gupta bodha vayam eva sakki kachit gada nirvidachita nalina nayana Hasudhara lilakshena tena. The queen said once again, O Kurari bird, you're lamenting. Now it is night, and somewhere in this world the Supreme Lord is asleep in a hidden place. But you are wide awake, O friend, unable to fall asleep. It is that, like us, you have had your heart pierced to the core by the lotus-eyed Lord's munificent, playful, smiling glances. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmelatam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Swaya Kadamayam Sadati Swa Padantikam Katanchana Smiteya Smendushkaram Shukaram Vavet Vismite Viparitam Shat Shri Chaitanya Namami Tam. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. And so Srila Prabhupada describes this principle of Atmavan Manyate Jagat. Atmavan or Atmavat, it's also called Atmavat Manyate Jagat. So Van, this is the root, Bhagavan. Bhaga means all the wonderful opulences of attraction, beauty, wealth, fame, power. I think Dana K shared, maybe she shared a link of the osprey, how he sounds with. Um, so Bhagavan, he has all this. Bhagavan means beauty, wealth, fame, all the different opulences of attraction. Van, he possesses. So Atmavan, what yourself is filled with, that's how you will manyate. That's how you will perceive and see this world. Like a perverted man will see perversity everywhere. A businessman will see, he'll you go to the forest to see some place to take in the beautiful scenery, and a very astute businessman will see all the money he can make. Maybe he can make some kind of zip line theme park, or he could cut down all the trees, or he could do a tree house Airbnb. Oh, the Atmavan Manyate Jagat. The thief will think, "Oh, I'll go here, and when hikers are coming through, I can rob them, and it'll be so hard for people to catch me." You know? So Atmavan Manyate Jagat. And so the queens are thinking in this way. Their Atmavan, what fills their self, Atma, what their self is filled up with. That's how they see everything. They'll see everything according to that. You find this principle not just for the super advanced devotees. It is this principle of how we are filled up with affects our vision is for everyone. We say you don't see actually by your like biology, but you actually see by your psychology. You have so many of these visual illusions and experiments. Like everybody's seen that one where they say, "Look at the ball on the screen," and they say, "Count how many times this ball has been passed," and they show a video. And and then someone counts all the times the ball has been passed, but they don't notice that there was a gorilla that walked through the whole scene, somebody in a gorilla outfit dancing through the whole scene. Nobody notices. Or they don't notice that the curtains that were behind have changed color. Or they don't notice that one of the person had been switched out during the passing of the balls. Because what they're absorbed in is what they see. And just like, if we are absorbed in darkness, then that becomes visible everywhere. If we're absorbed in light, then we start to see the beautiful light that is available everywhere. So Atmavan Manyate Jagat. So here, the queens are so absorbed that they're seeing the different things around. They're seeing this bird and they're hearing this, it's this sorrowful, beautiful cry. And they're saying, oh, you must be just like us. Just like us. You know, you're just a bird, but still, Krishna has pierced your heart. You have this term, I think it's in first canto, chapter 2. Uh, what is that one? Um, it talks about the hearts being bifurcated. But this is actually the anartas of the heart being pierced and torn apart. It's it's I think it's verse 19 or something like that. It's near the later part of the middle of the second chapter of the first canto. So the anartas become because it's like a knot in the heart, our anartas, and so it is very good that Krishna pierces our heart because our heart has so many anartas, unwanted things, anarta. And so here the queens, they're saying, Krishna has pierced your heart. You know, you're they're you know they're in this ecstasy of spiritual suffering. You know what is a spiritual suffering? Why? How can that be ecstasy? Now you see, so many of us are watching something that is full of great drama, or maybe even somebody watches a scary film. You're like, okay, why isn't fear bad? Why would you want something scary, or fearful, or full of distress or tragedy? But the person who is watching, they're watching and they're actually relishing the the uh, the emotion that is there. They're relishing even the fear. Otherwise, nobody would watch a scary movie. Now, of course, when you're watching the movie, you're not actually suffering. You're just getting the rasa, or the relationship, the experiential excitement of that emotion. But you're not actually suffering. You're not actually subject to death. And so, similarly, devotees there may feel separation, but they're not actually suffering. They're relishing the intensity of the emotion with Krishna. So the verse that is second canto, what was it? It's text 21. Vidyate hridaya grantis. Hridaya grantis is not it. Vidyate hridaya grantis. Chidyante sharva shamshaya. Shiyante chashtakarmani drishte atmarishvare. So the knot of the heart is pierced. Chijante sarva shamshaya. All the doubts are cut to pieces. All these things that kind of hold us back from completely giving ourselves to Krishna. And Shiante drishta karmani. All our karmas are completely wiped out. Shiante, utterly destroyed. Drishte atmaneshwari. And this way we see the Supreme Self. We become fixed in his vision. But this happens through the advancement of devotional service when our heart becomes pierced by the beautiful sidelong glances of Krishna, with when he has his playful smiles. Actually, was it Bilva Mangal Thakur? He talks about this beautiful smile of Krishna, and he gives it uh, uh, you know, it's out of it's a 1 out of 4 stars rating. There's a 4 madhuryas rating. He gives it all 4 madhuryas. So he says, Madhuram, Madhuram, Vapir Asya Vibhu, Madhuram, Madhuram, Vadanam, Madhuram, Madhugandhi Mridusmetam Etadaho, Madhuram, 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 Madhuram. So he says, sweet, sweet is my sweet Lord's form. Sweeter still is his face so fair, but his honey-scented, gentle smile is sweet beyond compare. So Madaram, Madaram, Vapur Asyavebo. This his form of my Lord Vibor. Madaram, Madaram. Two sweets. Madaram, Madaram. So sweet. Madaram, Madaram, Vadanam, Madaram. But his face, super sweet, three sweets. Madhu Gandhi, but his honey scented. Madhu Gandhi Mridu Smitam, his honey scented, gentle smile. Madhuram, 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 Madhuram. Four sweets, sweet beyond compare. And so here they're saying their hearts have been pierced by the munificent, the very kind, playful glances. So they're welcoming this suffering of Krishna, his glancing upon you. And so we're also um, we're asking for this glance. Actually, that's how we wake up Krishna in the temple in the morning. Every morning, we say, Susavadraba Kurano Bhagavan Vividha Prema Smitena Nayanam Buru Hambrijambam Utaya Vishavajayaya Vino Vishadam Madhva Girat Parayatat Purusha Purana. So he said, kindly, Prema Smitena Nayanam Buru Hambrijambam. Kindly smile upon me. Nayanam, with this prema smite, this with this lovingly glance. And when you open your eyes, it opens our eyes. Just like they have this description of the waking of the universal body. And that the universal body, it describes like the kind of universe and all the different elements. And it only awakens through the presence of the Lord. And then it describes that actually we can only awaken by the Lord's help. And so when the Lord opens his eyes to us, so he shines his loving glance, he can also awaken us out of ignorance. As we were describing in Soul Talks yesterday, right before we did the kirtan, we said in many ways we introduced this mantra. One way we introduce it is it's a transcendental alarm clock. So you're uh, riding your pink, fluffy dragon in the world of ice cream. And you hear this sound, and it reminds you wait a minute, I have some service to do, or I have some work to do, or I have Mangalarti to do. That is the sound of your alarm clock. It enters into your dream world. Enters the world that you have identified with as the all important, the actual reality. But the alarm clock goes, the sound enters into that world. Goloka, it's like a Goloka imports. It is imported from Goloka. It enters into that world and reminds you of the world that you've forgotten. Just like if you have somebody who has amnesia, you can steadily remind that person, and over time they may remember that life that they've forgotten. So Krishna's name is like this alarm clock. We are in our dream world, and here comes that sound. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's coming into our dream world, imported from the spiritual world, and is reminding us, oh, wait, there's another reality I've forgotten about. This pink fluffy dragon that I thought was so important is actually just a dream. It's not my world. It's not my reality. I have a real reality to get back to. So the day reality, the night dream and the daydream, all of that is not our actual reality. The Goloka world, that's our reality. And so this holy name of Krishna, it is imported from this spiritual realm, and it reminds us of that reality. And when we become absorbed in it, it actually pierces the heart. There are different stages of how we become connected to Krishna. So the first um, stage of understanding Krishna is through his nam. So they say nama, rupa, guna, lila. So we might want to just jump into the lila. Like I just want to just be, playing with Krishna or dancing with Krishna or chatting with Krishna. But it really starts up with developing a relationship with Krishna's name. When we develop a relationship with Krishna's name, that appreciation, then we start to appreciate his form. Then we start to appreciate his character. And then we truly start to appreciate his Leela. Of course, as Prabhupada and our acharyas has said, the Leela of Krishna is appreciable by all, but to appreciate on a pure level of actual deep spiritual traction, that starts through developing a relationship with Krishna's name. And to develop a relationship with Krishna's name, it's also helpful to purify our intelligence. So you have in the uh, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, it's described that Krishna says, mana eva mana adatsva, mai eva mana adatsva. Always have your heart upon me. And you say, Krishna, no, 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 my heart's everywhere else. It's really to keep my heart upon you. I'm not there yet. And then he says, well, mai bhudim niveshaya. Well, then use your intelligence and place your heart upon me. You say, well, Krishna, my intelligence is so bad also. It's not just my heart's all over the place. My intelligence is all over the place. Ai buddhim niveshaya nivasyasi eva taturdvam shamshaya. You do this. Krishna is saying, we will be together. Nivasyasi. We will live together. We will be together. But Krishna, unfortunately, my intelligence, you don't understand. It's in such bad shape. And then he says, Atachitam samanatum. If you can't keep your intelligence, your mind upon me through your intelligence, then just practice it over and over and over and over again. So you see, Krishna, he gives us so many, he says, just like recently, they showed the new iPhone 17. And they say, look, it has this feature. They have what they have. They have a big event, the iPhone Darshan. Huh. And then they tell you, it has this feature. It has this button. You press this button. Woo! It has that feature. It has this feature. They make it in a whole grand way, you know, very cinegraphic, and 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 then what happens is because the person's meditating on all the features, they're like, yes, 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 I want this iPhone. Oh my God, I'll be so happy if I had this iPhone. And they're just thinking all these different features. Of course, when you finally, some people, you've seen this before. People will get up at Mangalartik and go to the line and wait in line in front of the store to get the new phone. They're waiting there. They get the phone, and after they're like, wait a minute, this is just like the last one. I, I don't even know what's different. I can't even tell. But what happens is meditating on the features creates this attachment. And so that's why they have every year, they'll have the new iPhone, new iPad, new Air headphones, Darshan, and they'll say this, that, this, and that, this, and that. And everyone becomes absorbed in meditation of wanting and wanting and wanting. Of course, they're wanting something that is temporary, and therefore it doesn't satisfy. So Krishna in this chapter, he says, "Atachitam samadatum nashakshnosi maistiram." If you can't, using your intelligence, keep your heart upon me, then you just practice it. You just practice it. Abhyasa yogena tato mam ichatum dhananjaya. And what happens when you start using your intelligence? Like Krishna says, I'm the pure taste of water. I'm the light of the moon. I'm the fire of digestion. I am the strength of the strong. I'm the ability of man. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And we start to think of Krishna. What does he say? Mam ichatum. Then you'll start to like me. You'll start to like me if you start to purify that intelligence. And when the mind likes something, it holds on to it. And so that's why the mind can be the greatest friend, because when it starts to like something, it holds tightly onto that thing. It's either, when it's uncontrolled, when the mind is just given all other things that, all the other energies that are surrounding us, then the mind becomes attached to those things. So, but when the mind is given Krishna, the mind becomes attached to Krishna. Mam ichatum dhananjaya. And Krishna says, it says, okay, what for the souls like, Krishna, I even practicing, thinking of Krishna, I'm not even there. I can't even practice that. You know, I, I, do a hard. It's too hard to press on that Zoom link and listen to the lecture. I just want to go to sleep. Uh, but he says, if you can't even do that, abhyase pi asamarto si, my mat karma paramo bhava. You can just engage your activities for me. Mat karma paramo bhava. Working for me and doing things for me is the highest. Mat karma paramo bhava. Mat artam. We said arta. You remember this means something that is valuable. Mad artam. If you work for my sake, mad artam api karmani. Kurvam siddham avapsasi. You will surely attain perfection. And this is how we can predict our futures. Krishna says, whatever you're absorbed in your mind in, that you become. It's yam yam vapi smaram bhavan. Whatever is our consciousness is being absorbed in, Baba, that's what you become. We have the example of the wasp who takes a creature and stores it away to eat, and that creature's so full of fear that he becomes like a wasp in his next life. His absorption of that thinking of that object, because he becomes that object in his next life. So Krishna says, Tasmat Kaleshu, that we always should think of him. And we always think of him, then we come back to him. Ananya Cheta Satatam. Just uh, keep that without anything else. Keep our consciousness upon him. And so he says in chapter 8, text 14, for one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of the constant engagement in devotional service. And so we're in these various stages. You start off with a little bit of interest, then you start to associate with devotees, then you start to engage in service, and then you may commit yourself to service. And when you commit yourself, and maybe even commit yourself to spiritual practices and take initiation, then even before initiation, we start to eradicate the unwanted desires within the heart. But as we eradicate the unwanted desires in the heart, and they become nashta prayeshu nashta bhadreshu kaleshu, nashta bhadreshu. When most of those unwanted things in the heart are cleared up, then we become firmly fixed in on our faith. We become free from all the various doubts. We can really give ourselves to Krishna. But after that, we start to develop a type of uh, attraction, a taste, and then an attraction. After that, then things start to speed up. Because Krishna is attractive, the mind starts to go after Krishna. And when the mind starts to go after Krishna, and we become absorbed in Krishna, we just start to see Krishna in all our different aspects of our life. It is said at the stage of Nishta, at various points, a devotee can be, or no, I think it is Ruchi. Ruchi? Sakti. No, Nishta. At some points, he can become very absorbed in Krishna, but he doesn't know, he can't keep track that sometimes he's like, wait a minute, I was thinking of Krishna, but then now my mind has gone somewhere else. How did that happen? I don't even know how it happened. I was thinking of, I was thinking of something about Krishna. Maybe just his name, maybe his rupa, maybe his guna, maybe his lila. But somehow or other, my mind went somewhere else. I don't even, but on the stage of a sakti, one is always thinking of Krishna. And every once in a while, the mind may go to like practical matters. But in the stage of Nishtha, it's the opposite. One is always thinking of other things, but once in a while, one can actually be absorbed in Krishna. So Sakti, very deep. You're always thinking of Krishna, but maybe once in a while, a very practical thing is there, or maybe some old material thought is there. And so we're viewing this absorption. There is what is called the expectation effect. Expectation effect describes how our mind um, so much affects our body and how it affects our perception. So many of you have seen examples of illusions, but there's also the example of placebos. Uh, we find that the placebos, they first thought was just for people with weak minds, but it is actually just a universal effect that the mind is so powerful it can transform the body. Here, a simple example is somebody who's been married for 50 years and the wife dies, or the husband dies, and the other spouse, they die a week or a day later or 5 days later, because the mind can tell the body to die. That's how powerful this mind is. This one man, he took 29 antidepressants trying to give up his life. He was depressed. His little girlfriend has left him. But then he called his best friend. He said, actually, I want to live. I don't want to die. So his friend took him to the hospital. They, uh, they, uh, he had dangerously low blood pressure. He was about, his body was shutting down. Then doctors tested his blood. He did not have the toxins that should have been there, had been the medication had been in the bloodstream. So they called his doctor, and the doctor said, no, no, he took 29 placebos. Basically, he had 29 M&Ms, basically. Just, it's not medication. And they had to rouse the man, say, hey, that was placebos. And his body started to settle down. And he lived. This is the power of the mind. We had two sisters. Their father was trapped under a 3,000-pound tractor. They lifted the tractor. They cracked their teeth. They ripped their tendons and muscles. But still, they did the impossible, because the mind can actually affect the body in profound ways. We had so many scientific experiments of a person. They had what is the Harvard flight test. They had all these cadets. Um, they said they did an eye test. You do this eye test and you go down to 2020, 2015, 2010 to see how clear can you see the letters the letters on this row of that size. And so they all did their eye tests and they had their results. Then they sat them in a flight simulator, and they walked them through this meditation. Okay, I want you to all to picture yourself as uh, you are trained and the best of the best fighter pilots in the world. Okay, read that number on the side of that plane. And all of these students could read numbers smaller than they could read in the original eye test. So what's happening here? This is described by in the Ishopanishad about the four defects of perception. Is that you have the Karnapatava, You have the defects of the senses. Like I close my eyes, I don't see the cells on my eyelids. I don't see millions of miles away. So that's the defects of the senses. You have Karnapatava, but then behind Karnapatava, you have there's Pramada, Vipralipsa, and what is the other one? There's Karnapatava, Vipralipsa, Pramada. What is the other one? Anybody? Uh, okay, here is it.
Tendency to cheat.
That no, that there is. It's a processing error. It is called Brahma. Prabhupada says error. And he says, just like, and the example Srila Prabhupada gives is mistaking a rope for a snake. So that's not a process, that's not a problem with the senses. Your eyes saw something, but how your consciousness processed it. That's where the error took place. And then there is what is called pramada, which is the tendency. There's both of the Brahma is a type of illusion. This is Bhrama, Brahma. And then there's pramada. Uh, Brahma is when you're consciously looking at something and still you're an illusion. And pramada is the illusion because you're unconscious. Like, for example, thinking you're the body. And vipalipsa is the tendency, despite all these problems, to present yourself as a great arbiter of truth and authority. So, yeah, so how did we get here? We talked about, yeah, so this perception. And so when we become, our minds become more and more purified, the mind becomes clear. It becomes like, I think the Yoga Sutras describes it as a crystal clear. And when you place a clear crystal amongst anything, it reflects it clearly. But when it's colored, when it has the colors of the different modes of material nature, then the truths that are observed are distorted. So we're trying to add the Pavitram, the supremely pure Krishna, into our consciousness, as it's described in the, was it chapter 9? Raja Vijraja Guyam Pavitram. That Krishna is pure, and this knowledge of Krishna is pure, and it makes our minds become clean and pure, and then we can see truth clearly. That sattvic platform, Sattvam Brahma Darshanam. It is like you're standing at, even if you are not Shuddha Sattva, even if you're not on the pure platform, if you're at least at the on the platform of goodness, then things become clear. Just as like I might not be outside. Say there's a beautiful kirtan outside. I might not be outside. I might be standing at the window, but at least I have some clarity. I can see everything. I know what's going on. The mode of passion, that's like being in the Bhakti Center basement. There could be a kirtan outside, but you might not be sure if it's a kirtan going outside. It could be just some other song with some bass beats going on. Or you could have maybe even a studio, recording studio room in one of the rooms of the basement. And then whatever's happening outside, you're completely unaware. So that's like the mode of ignorance. So the mode of goodness is like being at the window. Everything becomes nice and clear. And then we're encouraged, take a step out, not step out the window, open the door, come out and dance in the kirtan of Lord Chaitanya, and be absorbed in the spiritual pastimes of Krishna. So Om Tat Sat, thanks a lot. We'll stop here and see if there's some reflections, comments, or questions.
Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Adipurusha Prabhu, we missed you yesterday. Please speak. Unmute yourself. Shri Adipurusha.
Krishna. Good morning, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Your classes are just immaculate. It's incredible. Your spiritual master is empowering you in a beautiful way. And the subject matter is so sublime, how these gopis were moved by Krishna's glance. And I was praying to Srila Prabhupada, what is it? what is it about Krishna's glance that's so transforming and finds us riveted to it and changes our consciousness? Like you gave the example, like they begin to look at everything through the lens of that experience. And they're even thinking, they're hearing the bird song and they're thinking, you also are longing to reciprocate with Krishna's, loving glance. And as far as I can understand, the fact is that Krishna's love is expressed through that glance. Just like if you go to a dog, even a dog can see if you're afraid of him, or if you're going to threaten him, or if you're ignoring him, or if there's some like welcoming. We have one of the people that helps with prasad distribution. When a dog comes, he goes, "Hi, dog! Hi, doggy dog!" And the dogs see that, he sees me, and the dog goes running over to that devotee. And so Krishna's like that. He loves us, and we're living in a world where there's less than that extreme pure love flowing toward us. So when we see the way Krishna loves us by the way he's looking at us, it's like you ever see in the end of the winter when there's still snow on the ground, and then the crocus, you know what a crocus is? It's a flower. They come up through the snow, right? Even, and this because springtime is coming and the warm nourishment from Grandfather Vivishwan is shining on them, and they just respond to that, So, similarly, we are rejuvenated and nourished and become happy when Krishna looks at us in such a loving way. And it's like waking up from sleep. We're seeing it. We're reminding, like you mentioned so nicely, another quality of consciousness. Wait a minute, this crazy nightmare, that's not what's really happening. I'm safe, I'm here, my father is nearby, and he's calling me out of this crazy dream full of fear and neglect to the reality that Krishna loves us and he's there for us. He's looking at us. Anyway, I'm talking too much, but thank you so much for this class. It was just superb.
The fluffy dragons, or was it a dragon or a unicorn?
It was a pink fluffy dragon.
Fluffy dragon. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, this is my life. What I think is my life is a bunch of fluffy dragons going in all directions, and I'm trying to control them and enjoy them.
Mine used to be Puff the Magic Dragon.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
He lived by the sea. Yeah, he was wonderful. There's also a dragon that I've been told when Ram was a puppy in the never-ending story, right? It's sort of like the Bhagavatam or Krishna's pastimes. It's a never-ending story. And this movie called The Never-Ending Story had a dragon that looked like a dog, a yellow dog. And when Ram hangs his head out the window when we're driving, he looks like that. I can't remember the name of the dog in the dragon dog.
Is it? No,
What's that?
Is it Atreyu? I forget.
Something like that. Something, yeah, almost sounds Sanskrit. Yeah, I've had several people who come from those decades drive up next to us and say, "Hey, look, this reminds me of a never-ending story," because he looks like the dragon dog flying. Anyways,
Jay Robinson says it's Falcor. That's his name.
Falcor. Yeah, that's unbelievable trap of a memory you have, Prabhu. Thank God.
No, somebody just put it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, you do, and thank God you've decided to use that power in learning all the Shastra, because I would hate to see what trouble you would cause the world if you were not a devotee with that power. Yeah, what Adi Purush said, it is a simple thing. I mean, even a dog knows his master. Even a dog knows whether he's being just the glance or the tone of the voice. And to think that isn't present in Krishna in a glance, that all of a sudden he imparts. I mean, he creates the whole world in a breath. So we can imagine the power of a glance. Yeah, just anyways, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Darshan time, dear devotees. Put on your best look for Krishna.
Thank you for setting up the audio. Good morning, practice.
Shishi Radha Dara Ki Jai, or Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain spiritual devotion. And not the lotus feet, pray all of our like the grace of obtaining knowledge. My only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection and fulfills all of his acts. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental love. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic flame emanates, and by him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord of fast and devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds, except with the lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Nitai Prabhu.
Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. William Prabhu, very briefly.
Is Prabhuji here who gave class today?
Hi, Krishna.
Haribo Prabhuji. I wanted to thank you very much for class today. It was a wonderful class. It brought me to tears. Um, uh, just wanted to thank you so much for class. I think in my next life, I'm gonna ask Krishna if I have to be born as a human being, that I have you as a father. You're such a great storyteller. You're such a great storyteller. And I never experienced storytelling as a kid. We need these stories. They're very important. Very important. Anyway, just a quick reflection. Um, yeah, that was my reflection. A personal story where karma hit me. Karma comes back. Karma hits me very fast. Just yesterday night. Before yesterday night, I went to the Brooklyn Temple because I was praying to Krishna. Please, I want to know what the Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasudhi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda means, because I keep chanting 108 beads, and every time I finish my prayer, I have no idea what I'm saying. So
Yep.
so he goes, here you go. I get this book. It's called Japa Affirmations Mahatma Das from Mahatma Das. 20 meditations to deepen your chanting. He answered my prayer. He answered my prayer. And instead of reading it and doing my job more thoroughly, I wound up going to a bar last night, and the bar was so full. I said, forget about it. I said, Krishna, take me home. So the taxi cab got lost. He couldn't find me. I was in the Little Italy, right? I fell down, Prabhuji. I fell down so bad. I had to go to the emergency room. And that, to me, that's karma hitting me very fast. Because here, Krishna's saying, you want to know what it means? Here's the book. I didn't even open and read the book. So thank you for class, Prabhuji. Beautiful class.
Thank you for being here. Beautiful philosophy. Beautiful Krishna.
Thank you, William Prabhu. So was it karma hidden William Prabhu, or Krishna's mercy, or Krishna stepping on his shoulder gently?
According to Prabhupada, a devotee gets instant karma because he's paying attention. And Krishna's like, if the child is about to run out into the street, due to the enthusiasm, Krishna's going to immediately grab him by the ear and tug. And sometimes when Krishna tugs, that child will fall back on his ass. And we all go through that, William. You're not alone. God laughs at the vows. Rumi said, God chuckles, laughs at the vows that all men take that never they keep. We try to be saintly. And the world has its pulls, our anartas. We have these grooves like a record player that says, let's go to the bar, but like you said, these stories are so important because these stories go through. If you do this, then this will happen, and guess who's going to make it happen? It's going to be Krishna, either directly or indirectly through Maya, but it's all Krishna. And that's the wondrous thing about Krishna consciousness. We become aware of the path, and we know full well when we're off the path and in the thorns, because it hurts. That's why Prabhupada said, chant and be happy. Because if you're not happy, then you can rest assured that that's a barometer that you're doing something wrong. And yeah, those stories are great, and Nityananda Chandra is a reservoir library of, if you ever want to find out, the purport or the origin of a particular philosophical thought. But it's good for all of us to have these stories, because each of us lives an individual story in which, of course, even as a devotee, we are the main player. We are the main player in this story, and we do things for the plot. And there's this arch, this narrative arch, that Krishna sees the whole book. We don't. We're going chapter by chapter, and he's lining up the chapters. He's writing that story for us to go through, which includes, of course, Krishna tugging us by the ear and making us fall on our butt. Fall on our ass, go backwards, falling back, falling down. We're falling. Thank God we don't have too deep to fall. We'd be out of it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima
They say,
Prabhu.
falling forward.
Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Yes, falling forward. Yes. Yeah, we need something encouraging and positive. It's not just falling and being corrected, reprimanded.
Well, sometimes with you, Prabhu, it's a mosh pit. So you're not falling. You're like, you're crashing into people, crashing into devotees during kirtan.
Thank you. We have Krishna Kumari followed by Narottam Nitai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I really was appreciating during the darshan, Radharani had 4 large pearls in her braid. And I was looking and I was thinking, wow, those are such large pearls. And then I was like, well, where is Murlidar's? And he did. He had 1 large pearl tucked in one of his curls. So I don't know what that means for their arrangements today, but I'm sure it's pretty beautiful. I really appreciated you talking about the placebo effect and how it's become this like negative thing, like, oh, it's just placebo. Placebo is everything. Krishna gives us the ability to heal. And if we believe we can heal, if we believe we can be Krishna conscious, if we believe, Krishna can give us that ability. So I deal with a lot of people really struggling with health issues and walking them through their own knowing that they're stepping into healing and allowing and communicating with the body and really differentiating, like you said, what's the mind, what's the body, and what's the self. So how to the self with Krishna, connection to the body, using the mind as our friend and healing. Hare Krishna.
We have Narottam Nitai has his hand up. Thank you, Krishna Kumari. My daughter was just mentioning you yesterday. She was like talking about wanting to visit the cows and the farm. She wants to stay on a farm,
Yeah.
at least after she gets out of high school.
We have lots of room. My son, both my sons aren't here right now. We have lots of room. She can come stay with us anytime. Be wonderful.
Narottam Nitai Prabhu?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say thank you for class, and because of class and so many I'm starting to finally read the books very much more regularly now, and like just yesterday I was reading Nectar Instruction verse 2. Talked about those 2 words, niyam agraha, and how, and so I'm really trying to because a lot of times, like for me, devotional service is a little bit more like almost like climbing stairs, in the sense like there's some things I'm doing correctly, but then there's other services I'm not doing. And so, like, being able to really just like embrace the ones that I am doing and really aspire to do more as I'm trying to do. And it's really helping. And when I'm chanting, I'm sometimes I pray that I get those 26 qualities of a devotee that's mentioned in chapter 16 verse 1. So so I'm just really trying. I just wanted to say thank you, because it's really inspiring to hear your lectures, and it's helping me make advancement, and just like a little bit of Vaishnav etiquette to say thank you after class, because I'm in Detroit. I'm not in New York City, so dhanavad.
Okay, good. Just to share Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's purport for chapter 3, text 31. He says, he's talking about, following the different rules and, um, the verse is those persons who execute their duties according to my injunction, who follow the teachings faithfully without envy, become free from the bondage of fruitive activities. But Prabhupada writes in the purport, he says, but an ordinary man with firm faith, not like a sadhu or some really serious, but an ordinary man with firm faith in the eternal junctions of the Lord, even though unable to execute such orders, becomes liberated from the bondage of the law of karma. And then he continues, he says, in the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not be able to fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord. But because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he'll surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was very hope-giving. Anandi had a question, how to make an offering. Where, Anandi? What was your question? How to make an offering? I couldn't catch the place. And what kind of offering you're trying to make? Anandi? This is the last question, dear devotees. Anandi will finish it off. No? Can you put your question in the WhatsApp group?
Oh, here you go. So, this period, this 2-week period, is a time of offering to the ancestors. It's called Pitru Paksha. And I saw that I'm not not advanced in technology. So I was seeing that in Govardhan Eco Village, they're going to have to end the period, I think it's 21st of March, with the Mahayagna to all the Pitrus and something else, some other ceremony. And I was wondering if anyone could send me the link so I could send them my credit card number. I think it's very important to make these offerings, but that's me because I'm a Hindu.
So it's Govardhan Eco Village offering to the ancestors link. We'll try to look it up, Anandi.
Thank you.
Okay. Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, final instructions.
Sweet, sweet is my sweet Lord's form, sweeter still is his face so fair. But his honey-scented, gentle smile is sweet beyond compare.
Sweet poetry. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, let's.
Dravida Prabhu. Dravida
Jai
Prabhu.
Prabhu ki Jai. We're going to request Saurabh Prabhu, Saurabh, to recite the Maha Mantra to complete the offering. Saurabh Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Lots of love and respects to all of you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Saurabh Prabhu. Srimad Bhagavatam, our never-ending Leela ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All the glowing devotees on this call and outside too, ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you again, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu.
Thank you. All glories to the devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.